In this video, we'll share with you how we added a simple valve to our freshwater tank overflow that helped us stop losing a third of our water every time we filled it up.
We're often camping in areas without connections to a water supply.
We seek out fun locations with great scenery and dark night skies away from the city lights, and we like camping at state and provincial parks, most of which do not have water connections at each site.
So, we fill up the freshwater tank before setting up at the campsite. Sounds simple enough, right?
But it didn't turn out to be quite as straightforward as we thought it would be. Often, we'd lose quite a lot of water along the drive from the water faucet to our campsite through the overflow tube.
There have been a few times where neighboring campers have actually called out to us, saying, "Hey, water is leaking out of your camper."
And even though we had just filled our tank, our gauge would show that by the time we drove to our campsite, we'd already lost almost a third of the water. Oftentimes, this was as short as a quarter or half kilometer of travel.
It drained out onto the road during the drive, and sometimes even continued to drain out for a few minutes after we got to the site. It was just annoying. I had to do something about this.
As on most RVs' freshwater tanks, our overflow was a piece of half-inch nominal size tube. So we made a trip to the closest hardware store and picked up an easy-to-install stop valve.
The quarter-turn valve wasn't expensive. It was very easy to push it onto my existing PEX tube, and now I can keep the overflow line closed during the short drive while going from place to place with a full tank of water. I've always had a checklist of tasks that I like to do when arriving at a new campsite. Now, one new task is to open this valve once we're set up on our site.
We chose the shark bite style valve because they're known for holding the seal very well, rather than the slide-in fittings that work with a hose clamp.
The stiff plastic tube on the RV doesn't flex enough to allow a hose clamp to work properly. If we had gone with that type of fitting, we would have needed to purchase an additional special crimper. Shark bite fittings slide over the tube, small teeth in the fitting grip onto the tube, and then the rubber gasket forms a watertight seal.
It's very common in RV plumbing to see PEX tubing utilized. That's what we had for our overflow drain. Shark bite fittings are designed to hook onto copper and PEX tubing without having to solder or having the need for special tools. Their tight fit meant we wouldn't have to worry about our valve wiggling loose and falling off during travel.
In summary, we're happy that we made this small modification that will help us to keep our water tank totally full all the way to the campsite. Installation only took a couple of minutes, a small but valuable job well done. Please leave us a comment below if you had a similar problem and how you tackled fixing it.
Looking forward to seeing you on the road.
Check out some of our other videos and subscribe to our channel.
New content will be posted weekly.